Hi guys, do you know what is the first thing that I read when I started my gardening journey and I started researching a little bit? Overwatering kills more plants than underwatering. And if you have already started your gardening journey, I'm pretty sure you must have heard that phrase so many times by now. So today I decided that I will talk more about how to water your plants. This is Anindita from Your First Nature. It's a fact that overwatering does kill more number of plants than underwatering. But even then, underwatering is also something that you need to avoid because I am a chronic underwaterer and I can show you that my garden is always full of some dried leaves and yellowing leaves in plants that actually otherwise would have loved a little bit more water. So it is very important for you to understand what is the actual watering need for that plant and water accordingly so that you can avoid overwatering definitely, but you can also avoid underwatering. I have recently killed one plant due to underwatering. I will put a picture on the screen of that just to explain why overwatering and underwatering are both things that you need to avoid. Before we get into any of it, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button. In that way, you will be notified about every video that we post every week. Water is one of 3 or 4 most basic components of a plant's growth. But still, why do you think that overwatering actually kills so many plants? The answer is very simple. If you look at this plant, even if the soil looks like it doesn't have any air or anything, the soil actually has very tiny air pockets. And your roots, the plant's roots, they do need to breathe a little bit. So when these plants are actually evolved to breathe in only soil, not in water. There are water plants also which can survive very well submerged in water or completely inside the water. But these plants are not like that. The roots have evolved to breathe in air and they breathe through the air pockets inside the soil. So when your soil is soggy and it is holding too much water, the roots are not accustomed to breathe in that kind of soil. It cannot breathe when it is submerged in water and they suffocate. So it actually looks more like they are not getting water than they are overwatered. I don't want to get into details of the signs of overwatering because this session is about avoiding overwatering or underwatering and about watering your plants correctly rather than identifying when you have made some mistake in terms of watering and you need to do some troubleshooting. Just one thing I would like to mention is that the signs of overwatering, except for rotting, many times it is exactly same as underwatering. Rather than trying to understand how to identify overwatering, it's better to avoid it altogether. But you do need to understand if there is a problem, then you do need to understand how to troubleshoot that as well. But I will talk about that in another episode, not today. So I am going to divide this session into 4 different sections. In the first one, we are going to talk about how to identify your plant's watering need. In the second one, I'm going to talk about what are the factors that impact how often you need to water your plants. In the third one, I'm going to talk about how to identify when your plant needs water. And in the last one, I'm going to talk about how to correctly water your plants. The best tip that I can give you about watering is that don't water your plants on a schedule. Try to understand the entire concept and water your plants accordingly. So first things first, how to identify your plant's watering need? The answer is that it depends on their native habitat. So when you get a plant home, always try to do a little bit of research. Try to understand where that plant comes from. If the plant is coming from desert, that means the plant is used to having a lot of sun, very harsh midday sun, the entire day sun, and also very, very little water. Whereas a lot of our houseplants actually come from rainforests. In rainforests, however, they have plenty of water. If not anything, they have plenty of humidity. Also, one thumb rule is that unless they are water plants, like a marshland plant or a completely watered plant, plants generally don't like to have water around their roots. But when we say water around their roots, that means I'm talking about soggy soil, which will have water around their roots all the time, and it will have some kind of water all the time. But the watering need still differs in the sense that some plants need to be totally dry between waterings, some plant need to be halfway dry, and some plants need to be constantly evenly moist, not soggy, just moist. And this is exactly the type of information you will find if you research a little bit about the plant. In the desert-like conditions or the very dry native habitat plants, for example, a jade plant, any succulents or any cacti or any plants that have evolved to have very thick leaves or stems or the roots, they are used to being in very, very dry conditions, and that's the reason why they have evolved to store a lot of water in some part of their body. And these plants cannot tolerate to sit in water in any way, not even moist soil all the time. So what I do, this is a snake plant, what I do for this one is that 2 days back I watered this plant, and now I will let it dry out completely. When the entire part of the soil is completely dry, then only I will water it again, not before that. On the other hand, this is a philodendron micans, and these plants, they like to dry out, but only halfway through. If the pot contains this much soil, I would rather let it dry out only about this much and not beyond that. That is probably 1 or 2 inches or 3 inches from the topsoil, rather than going all the way through and letting it dry out completely. In that way, you will lose a lot of foliage. The foliage will dry out and they will get crispy and they will fall out. This is a plant that comes from desert-like conditions. And this is a plant that comes from rainforest like conditions. Another type of plant like the prayer plants or the Phytonias, they actually like to have slightly moist conditions at all times. They don't like to dry out at all. These kind of plants come from rainforest-like conditions where the soil will be moist all the time. So even if they actually cannot stand standing water or soggy soil, but they don't like to dry out either. So by researching the native growing habitat or the growing conditions they originally faced when they evolved helps you a lot to identify their watering need. You can also identify the watering need to some extent by looking at your plant. So if a plant has thick leaves, as I say, that thick leaves or stems or root ball, then that means they store the water in their body. They will need a lot less water. They need to dry out completely, 100% before being watered again. But the thin leaf plants like this one, this has thin leaves. They don't have any water storage, not as much. Stems are pretty thick, but still they don't have that much of water storage. So even if they can dry out a little bit, they cannot dry out completely 100%. There are many other physical aspects of plants that gives you indication about their growing conditions or their watering or their sunlight needs. Maybe I will do a separate episode on that because that is a pretty big topic in itself. Now the second point is that what are the factors that impact how often you need to water your plant in your home? And this is precisely why I say that don't ever water your plants by schedule, at least not by a schedule that has been given by someone else. You can create your own schedule. I have done that myself. But again, that was just a guideline because I had about 300 plants and it was not possible for me to keep a track of all the plants. So I used to maintain a schedule, but that was customized completely for myself and my plants in their particular growing condition in my home. If someone is saying that if you have a rubber plant, you should water it twice a week, that is not correct, because I have watered my rubber plant once in a week, once in 2 weeks, depending on the light I was giving. So let's get into the factors. The first and foremost is the amount of light that you are giving. If you have put your plants in very bright light, then they will definitely need a lot more water. Two reasons. One is that the plant will grow much more vigorously and they will need water in order to grow properly. Another reason is that when it is getting a lot of light, then the water will also get evaporated much sooner and you will have to water your plants much more frequently. For example, in this house, I get pretty bright light from the north side of the house and from the east side of the house. So all my plants are actually getting a lot of bright indirect light or sometimes even direct light throughout the day. So now my watering frequency is much lesser than what I used to do in Mumbai. The next factor is the soil. Two things, the soil mix and the amount of soil that you are using in that pot. By soil mix, I mean to say that clay soil holds a lot of water, retains a lot of water. It is very dense and fine particles of clay actually hold too much water. On the other hand, a little bit of grainy and gritty soil will let the water drain out without holding too much. Some components that we always add in potting soil, or at least we try to add in our potting soil, are something good for drainage like sand or perlite or very small gravel. These kind of things, they actually create air pockets and let the soil dry out much sooner. Like if you have sand, the sand particles will not hold any water. It will just let the water dry out and create air pockets. So that means if your soil is gritty in nature, it's not made of fine particles, it has a lot of bigger particles like sand or like gravel or like perlite, it will dry out much sooner and it will need to be watered much more frequently. And the amount of soil. This is a snake plant which is in a very small pot. I think this is 3 inches pot. So I water it about once in 7 to 10 days depending on temperature. But if I put this one in a 5 inch or maybe a 6 inch pot, there will be a lot of soil, lot of more soil, probably 3 times soil than what it is holding right now. So that every bit of soil will hold some water. So that way the entire pot will take much longer to dry. Also, the inside of a deep pot doesn't get dry so easily because it is not exposed to air or sunlight directly. So if your plant is in a small pot, it needs to get watered relatively more frequently than if the same plant is in a bigger pot where there is a lot of soil. The next important factor is the pot. The first thing is pot size, which I have already covered to some extent with the soil, amount of soil point. So bigger the pot is relative to your plant, it will need lesser water, and smaller the pot is if the plant is actually getting root bound, it is pretty big for that size of pot, it will need to be watered much more frequently. Another point is the material of the pot. There are some material which are porous. So, for example, this is a terracotta pot, and terracotta material is porous. That means water will seep out of the pot and it will get dry much more easily. The water will not be held inside the soil for a very long time. On the other hand, this is a plastic pot and this is a ceramic pot. This is actually a glazed ceramic pot. These two materials will not get dry so easily because these are not porous. They are not letting the water escape. Whereas terracotta or concrete, they are porous material and they will let the water escape and you will need to water much more frequently than the ceramic, glazed ceramic or the plastic pots. The other things that make a lot of difference is a season or the humidity or the temperature at that point of time. So for example, In summer, the temperature here can be pretty high, about 35 or 36 degrees centigrade. So if I'm watering my plant once in 5 to 6 days at that point of time, when the rainy season comes and when it is continuously raining and the humidity is also very high, the soil will not get dry so easily. It will probably absorb some of the humidity from the air, and since there is not too much of heat, the plant will not need that much of water. So all these factors need to be considered before deciding how often you need to water your plants. But this may seem a little overwhelming since there are so many different factors in play, right? So that's why my next topic is that how to identify when exactly your plant needs some water. So that is all for today. Please like, comment and share our videos. Let us know if I have covered all the points related to watering, all the important points related to watering in the comment section. Also let me know if this was helpful. Your feedback really means a lot to me. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button. Take care. Bye-bye.